All right, we should be live. Happy Wednesday, everybody. March 22nd, weekly live stream. How's everybody doing? Pikawubs, channel membership renewal. Thank you, Pikawubs. Appreciate it. Not sure if you're in the chat right now, because that comes up either way. Jucifer also, a lot of the renewals. We got Craig Lilly first, as most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. What's up, Craig? We got Demon Mint in the house. Federico Gonzalez. Give me 1 second. We got Mod Kevin Ngo. Kevin Ngo wants my Diablo 4 initial impressions. Okay, so I can talk about that while we just get warmed up here. Okay, let's see. We got Shane Eslick, who's just watching David's RMX 850X shift review. Is it a review or is it more of an overview? David doesn't have the tools to test power supplies, does he? But either way, I'm sure he made it entertaining as always. What else we have? We got Coalition Gaming Chris. What's up, Chris? KL130 as always. Rival Maniac. What's up, Ryan? I can't wait for this stream to start. I can feel my legs quivering. You jokester, you. 1 second. My window is all messed up. I need to reopen this. Let's see. We got Ben Wong. What's up? You tried to post in technical Discord, but it wants to verify phone number. Yes. Okay. So that people have brought that up. Phone verification is just like I think it's the top level of security because there's email verification and then phone verification. After the server got hit by a bunch of bots who were like just saying racist stuff as well as just being trolls, I put the highest level of security on it. So if you don't want to verify your phone, that's up to you. I mean, you give your phone numbers for so many other things. Discord is not like Discord is like a sketchy website, and yeah, so not a sketchy website, but a sketchy service. If you don't want to give your phone, then unfortunately you can't participate in the Discord. But I'm not gonna remove that level of security on the server. I don't think it's too much to ask to put your number in for that, given that so many other things that I would feel is less warranted ask for your phone number already. But that's up to you. It's a personal thing. Craig Lilly says Walmart had some Cheetos crunchy. Oh, extra flaming hot. Yo, my wife, that's her favorite kind of Cheetos actually. Hot Cheetos extra flaming hot, but we haven't been able to find them recently. Walmart was the place where we went to grab them, and then sometime during the pandemic there was actual like a literal hot Cheetos shortage, and we haven't been able to find the extra hot ones ever since. Okay, let me fix this window real quick because this is annoying me. It's making it hard for me to pull up people's messages. Okay. All right, here we go. What's up, John? How you doing? Coalition Gaming says I responded to an LTT tweet with an old LAN party fail clip. If you want to look at it, it's kind of cringe though. You want me to look at your cringe on here? All right, let me log into Twitter on this browser that I use for the streams. Login. Just chilling, waiting for people to get their. Oh, I got Twitter too. Two-factor on. All right, making sure that's not on the screen so people can't see. Okay. All right. Here we go. Done. So we got Coalition Gaming. Okay. What's up, Shauner? Tech news and nerdy info. In terms of, I feel like tech news has been relatively slow, at least relative to what I care about, which is mostly in the hardware space. And I guess games, we had the Diablo. Oh, we have another Diablo open beta coming up this week. But last week there was a Diablo semi-open beta if you bought some KFC or if you pre-ordered the game. And then Counter-Strike I don't really care about, but I know it's a huge game, and maybe Counter-Strike 2 is when I finally get into it. We'll see. Replies. What is this video? Alright, what was the Linus clip, first of all? Okay. We need you to reply with a clip of your worst tech fail. Oh, okay. So, Chris, you're submitting to this, so let's see what you have here. Hey guys, welcome to fucking gay ass. Okay, you can't be putting that, I don't think. We have fucking cripples. We got fucking Brando right here. Dirty ass feet. Stuff's not even out of the package. Got more air conditioners and more fucking nerf. Yeah, you can't just be dropping, like, calling stuff gay and then just dropping F-bombs left and right. You just submitted this to Linus thinking this is gonna get in his video? I don't think, yeah. Maybe you should clip it and then resubmit it. What just happened? Oh, okay. So you tripped the breaker during the LAN party, right? Okay. Yeah, you blew the power. I'm trying to think of any tech fails that I've had. I don't know if I've caught them on camera before. Actually, in the lifespan of the channel, maybe I do have something that I could submit to this, but we'll see. Oh yeah, no worries, Chris. I mean, yeah, I can tell that just by the video quality of that, that was super old. So, definitely YouTube was different times back then versus as to what was allowed or not. Okay. Texas Lean says, I just had to get a replacement for my 4070 Ti DOA. So annoying. How old was your 4070 Ti until you had to replace it? Oh, wait. Oh, it came dead on arrival. So, I honestly, glass half full looking at this situation, I would say that I would rather get something DOA than have it die, I don't know, 30, 60, 90 days, a year down the line. So just knowing that it doesn't work right out of the box, at least you're still within not only the manufacturer's return window, but also the retailer return window, right? Because once you pass, I think most retailers are like, what, 30-day returns until you have to deal with the manufacturer. Then that gets to be more annoying. So I'm not sure where you bought it from, Texas Lean, but hopefully the new replacement works just fine. Yeah. Yeah, Newegg. Yeah, so Newegg, I think it is 30 days. There's apparently an issue with Gigabyte 3080 Ti's giving up the magic smoke on Diablo 4 beta. Seems similar to New World, where 3090s were failing. I think I saw in my YouTube feed. I didn't watch the full video. Jay, was it Jay who reported on that, or was it the root of that elsewhere? Diablo 4 3080 Ti. So we've got stuff from a day ago. WePC. Okay, what's the biggest? Tweaktown has an article. Blizzard Entertainment 3 days ago. Reddit. Okay, so they posted on the Reddit. Is this the same thread? It is. While playing Diablo for 20 minutes during a cutscene in the chapel, my monitor's turned off. Had to restart the PC and motherboard's now posting error code. Nothing working. My GPU is dead. This is interesting. I was playing the beta on an RX 6600. It's so weird. Is this specific to just the Gigabyte card and the 3080 Ti, or can it be Gigabyte other like 3070s and stuff, or can it be 3080 Ti's from other brands? Let me see. There's other creators or people. Oh, okay. This is. Yeah, Kevin, you were playing on a 2060 Super. Quacker, post your PC Partpicker link to the Discord server if you can, and we can get to it later on in stream. I'm sure we'll have time for it. There's not a ton of tech news today, so I was gonna do some deal hunting as well as just whatever you guys wanted to do. What's up, Nemus Tech? Vision OC 3080 Ti and potentially some Asus 3080 Ti. Looking okay, huh? So I'm curious. Who's gonna be to blame for this? Is it gonna be the Blizzard and their game, or is it gonna be the graphics card manufacturer? I don't even remember with the whole New World controversy. Um, did they ever like if you had to blame someone on it for the New World one? Was there one side to blame, or is it just kind of like nobody's fault really? Actually, Danny Carbajal, I actually need to order a new fire extinguisher. I think ours are expired by this point. We keep a fire extinguisher in the kitchen just in case. We've never had to use it, but they do have expiration dates. I'm sure they probably still work while they're expired, just probably not as efficient. So maybe we can go find a fire extinguisher. FG204, do you guys not have phones? I think you're referring to the whole Blizzard thing, but that also up to the why do you not want to authenticate your phone number on Discord? And it's not because people don't have phones, it's because they don't trust having their phone connected to their Discord for whatever reason. So yeah. The uncapped frame rate. That's a good point because so a lot of games, not a lot of games. Sorry, I take that back. There are a number of games that I've run into over the years where even in the loading screen, the graphics card starts to get really crazy coil whine or whatever because there's it's uncapped FPS. I think The Witcher 3 is the one that sticks out in my mind the most. Every time I tested The Witcher 3 in the past, I don't test it anymore, but The Witcher 3, when you load into the game and it has that loading screen with Geralt in the front before you choose like continue new game or whatever, that the FPI is crazy high there. And it causes any graphics card that I've ever had that has coil whine to whine ridiculously loud. Now for the New World thing, I wonder if that was similar in that like The Witcher 3 could have killed the same 3090 cards that had that issue too. Yeah, I think Destiny 2 was also a game that I remember that had a really crazy like menu, uncapped FPS that just be in like the like 3, 4, 5, 600 FPS. But in that case, I don't know. I still don't know if I would blame the game or the graphics card on that. Some games have really high uncapped FPS. Like I think Cyberpunk gets pretty high too, but it's not ridiculously high. Like getting up to like 200, 300 FPS is whatever, but when it starts pushing like 4, 5, 600, then that's like okay, why is the game not designed to cap the FPS when it doesn't even matter? How long does a fire extinguisher last? I don't even know. But all right, we're about 15 minutes in the stream, so let's talk about. I put two things on the thumbnail today. So the first one is so we're going to be looking at a Tom's Hardware article where I'm actually going to put these into the description, just so people can read them if they want as well. We've got an IGN as well as the Tom's Hardware article for, I think, what I would call like the two biggest pieces of tech news that I care about anyway. So the first one is Raja Koduri announced that he's going to be leaving Intel, and I think he's been there for what 6 years, 5 or 6 years by this point. And if you guys didn't know, he's kind of like the main face behind the whole Intel Arc graphics cards. Obviously, there's other people in like leadership there as well, but he's kind of the guy that for the last 5 or so years has been the main face poster child of it for them. So I've been seeing on social media people saying like, well, Intel art cards are pretty much dead now, even though they have put out. Well, we looked at it a week or two ago. They did have like kind of like a roadmap of what's planned, and they do have. We're expecting Battle Mage graphics cards to still come out, but I don't know. Any of you who's ever worked for like a big company before, like I've seen this even when I was working before, where um like leadership in the company either leaves or moves to a different division or whatever, retires, and they're like the big face of whatever department you're in. And honestly, in terms of the new products you release after that or like the day-to-day operations, nothing really changed. So I don't know. For me, I think him leaving Intel doesn't mean the Intel graphics division is dead or like discrete gaming graphics cards, mainstream cards. I don't think there's like a huge like risk of them like going under. Not Intel as a whole, but like Intel graphics and the future of Intel graphics. I think it'll be fine. He's been there for long enough where it's not like he's doing everything, right? He put together a team to do stuff. So just losing leadership like this, it's pretty normal. People move on, people move on to either like better positions or just to do different things. And there's way more people behind the scenes, that names that we don't even know about, pushing things forward. So in terms of like Intel graphics and all of that, in my last video where I talked about the Arc A750, I was saying that I think Intel has a lot more to show and give us in the future based on what they've already given us with their Alchemist cards. So yeah, this is just kind of big tech news if you care about like the faces behind some of these big companies. But I don't think this is like a huge issue. I think Intel is going to be just fine. Coalition Gaming says Jim Keller joined AMD to develop Ryzen, then subsequently left after like second gen. They've done fine. Will carry on. Yeah. Um. Yeah, so he was at AMD, then he left for Apple, then he came back to AMD, and then 6 years ago he left AMD to go to Intel. So I mean, people move around all the time. He was around for he did. Do they say in here? I think he was around. I forget which graphics cards he was around for in terms of AMD, but I think it was Polaris. Let's see if they say it in here. Polaris. Nope, they don't mention it. So I'm not sure if anyone in the chat remembers which GPUs he worked on over at AMD, but I am perplexed. Says Arc hardware is not amazing. So when you say Arc hardware is not amazing, would you say at the same price point, does NVIDIA have amazing hardware at, let's say, the $250 to $300 price point? And would you say AMD has amazing hardware? I mean, AMD technically is winning in like the rasterization FPS per dollar battle because their cards get you the most FPS. If you don't count into like, you know, AI super sampling and like ray tracing, AMD is at the top. But would you call them amazing hardware? Arc hardware, I mean, it's not amazing, but do we expect it to be amazing for their first kind of go at it? I think okay, let's take a look at Newegg real quick. I posted a deal in the Discord channel. If y'all didn't know, where's it? Deals. There's the deals channel here. Oh, we can take a look at this too, even though the price went up recently. But I posted this deal right here. So the Intel Arc A750 was down to $225, and it came with like a game bundle and software bundle and stuff like that. Let's see if this deal is still around or if that was just like a weekly deal. Yeah, so this is still going on right now. Like, I don't know, for $225 for the performance level that the A750 gives, yeah, sure, you also have you're gonna be competing with the RX 6600, which I think is also great value. But to say Intel Arc hardware is not amazing, I mean, that could just be like semantics with the word choice, but it's definitely not bad. If anything, I would say it's good. You might differentiate good versus amazing, but I mean, for $225, brand new, you can even ignore this bundle that they give you. What other options do you have? Yeah, I would agree right here. For $225, like, I don't know. It's hard to let's see if there's any RX 6600 deals right now. So we look at the cheapest RX 6600. We've got, so we have the ASRock one. Oh, this one comes with The Last of Us though. So this is kind of hard. Like, for someone like me, I'm comfortable with, you know, like when I was playing with the Arc card of the, how many titles did I test? Like 12 or something? I only had problems with one title for the most part, and that was Far Cry 6. It was having weird issues. I don't know why with my configuration, though I know these Arc cards can run them just fine. But if you don't want to deal with maybe kind of weird software issues, then you would go for the RX 6600. This is actually the card that I'm using in my system. Not this exact one, but I'm using a 6600 in my system right now, and it plays like actually really well for the brand new 225 price point. Between these two, if you're more seasoned with PCs, then and you want to play with art cards, then that, you know, it makes sense to buy it, especially if you're not on like a super budget and you're not only limited to one set of hardware. But if you are brand new in the PC space and you just want something that works reliably and cheap, I mean, AMD is still the way to go for now. NVIDIA, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I just wish I could say, oh man, you guys should get the RTX 3060, or at least it's competitive with the RX 6600. But the price for it still, unless we've seen some price drop recently, What's the lowest price one? The lowest price, see, and Newegg with the refurbished. We're not looking at refurbished. We're looking at new. The cheapest one is still $330. This is MSRP, at least. Yeah, this is pretty much MSRP pricing. So how, I don't know, $100 price difference, that is huge. Maybe not to, like, if you're like a working adult with a stable full-time income, yeah, $100 is whatever. But for people who are either younger, in college, don't have a like consistent paycheck and things like that, $100 could be spent in so many other ways where you could get other luxuries for your system and also not give up on graphics performance, choosing between a 3060 and a 6600. Like, with that extra $100, you know, like 2 TB NVMe SSDs are going for $100 or less nowadays. I mean, I guess, or $100 towards the CPU would also be pretty big. Like, that's a big upgrade. So, yeah. Pika Wub says, I have a full-time consistent income and $100 is still yikes to me. Yeah. I mean, $100, there, you can look at it two ways, right? Over the long term, $100, if you use a computer for 3 years, that's $33 a year. That's what, less than $3 a month. But also, some people take a look at that and say you could put that $100 into like some kind of account or invest in the stock market and see it grow, a guaranteed 5 to 10% gains every year, all that stuff. I don't like looking at stuff that way. It's more of what else could I get at that same point in time for that same amount of money. I don't like trying to project years into the future with investments like that. But the way I look at it is, for $100, that is like an upgrade between like an i3 to an i5 or an i5 to an i7. So yeah. So yeah, in terms of the whole Intel story, I mean, he's going to do his own startup company that's based on like AI. I think in his tweet he said it reignited his passion for tech. So that's awesome to him. Best wishes to him. And I'm sure Intel's gonna be fine, and we'll see. Maybe if we come back to this clip in a year's time and the Intel graphics division is completely dead, you guys can make fun of me for it. But I don't see this being like a huge issue. Sergeant Reaper says Intel Arc 2nd Gen GPUs could be better. Yeah, I mean, they're expected to be better, right? I'm trying to think of any situation where the following generation of products was on a hardware level inherently worse. I could see a situation happening where, like, on the launch of a follow-up like generation of product where it's bad off the bat, but that's due to either compatibility issues or like on the software side of things that could eventually be fixed. But from the hardware side of things, I don't see any reason to believe Arc 2nd Gen of GPUs wouldn't be better. NVIDIA has no lower budget selection. Yeah, they kind of don't. Like, the cheapest, if we were to do a quick search on, I haven't done this for a while. So when I go to Newegg, I usually type in exactly what I'm looking for, but I don't often go and sort by the categories. So let's go to those categories: core components, GPUs, video cards. Okay, so can we just sort by NVIDIA? Manufacturer, here we go, NVIDIA, boom. So we're gonna look by NVIDIA. We're gonna look at their sort to low by lowest price, and we're gonna get all this garbage here. So we're gonna look in terms of their the different generations. We'll do 40, 30. Is the NVIDIA filter? Yeah, that's still there. Why is it giving me Radeon stuff? That's wrong. We'll go even down to the 10 series, 16 series, and that's about it. Everything else is way too old. So we'll apply. So you can get refurbished. Come on now. Who's trying to buy a 1050 Ti refurbished? I mean, for a better price, yeah, it could still be considered, but 114 is not a good price. $1660 Super and Ti is still out there, yeah, but what's the release dates on some of these? So that's 4 years ago, and then 1660 Ti was also a little bit 4 years ago as well. I think people shouldn't have to look to 4-year-old graphics cards to find anything, you know, under $200. So we look at Nvidia. Okay, so new, you can get 1050s. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna remove the 10 series. We can get a 1630 GTX 1630. Okay, those are the cheapest ones, going at 140. Performance on those are definitely not worth it. Yeah, if you are wanting to game at a decent level, you don't consider this. You go to the used market for sure. Oh, potatoes, good call. Put by sold. I mean, there are some that aren't sold by Newegg that are usually fine. But okay, we'll look at sold by Newegg. 1660. Wow, are you kidding me? Look how quickly this jumped up. Newegg, get this out of my face. Okay, so we've got the GTX 1630 for 140 bucks. Then we get the 1650, which is almost, I guess you can use a $10 off code to bring it down to 175. And then we've got, I don't know why this 1630 is sold and shipped by Newegg for 185. What are they smoking here? And then boom, we get up to the 1660 Super for 250. Where are the 3050s at? Geez, 1660 non-supers. Here's a super, here's another super, all for over 250 bucks. And then we got the 3050 coming in. The lowest price 3050 we can find is 280. Like, in what world would you justify buying a 3050 for almost $50 more than the 6600 and the A750? But yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole Intel thing. We'll see what happens in the coming months. Let's see if there's a new roadmap. Intel Arc GPU roadmap. If there's any like leaks or news of anything, January. So all this news was from January. And if we bring that up again, assuming this is correct, I mean, which video cards? Who else? Did anyone else report it? Extreme Tech. Okay, so this one didn't get a ton of coverage from all the big tech news outlets. So you might have to take this with a grain of salt. But if we take a look here, I mean, in terms of Battle Mage, we wouldn't be seeing anything till around this time next year, unfortunately. So we might be seeing some refreshes or some in-between SKUs come out between now and the end of this year. But nothing crazy exciting. The only exciting thing I think that would come from this in terms of their upcoming roadmap for like their Alchemist Plus stuff would be if they are able to slash prices. So performance wise, I don't think there's anything gonna be major coming in here. But if they can get the prices down, or if the release of Alchemist Plus or any of these new cards can push the prices of these down, or if they naturally take more price reductions, then that's the most exciting news we're going to get this year from Intel. That's actually a good point. So Sergeant Reaper responding to Pico Up says, Linus says NVIDIA will sell a lot of GPUs because of the AI stuff. So okay, let me ask a poll. So in terms of AI, because I mean, with what GPT-4 and everything like happening recently, AI is definitely an interesting like topic or use case for higher end hardware. But how much of the AI stuff that exists right now are you actually doing based on your own PC, or versus other supercomputers that have these services like Midjourney and things like that, where they're generating the image using their stuff? Quacker says, I used to use GPT-2 for image generation. Took like 4 hours to get a good result, lol. And yeah, Jason brings up a good point. There is a lot more to PC hardware than just like gamers like us. Even I would rope in content creators also into like like a home use case. Yeah, I think, I mean, isn't that how most hardware is developed in the first place? For more like for more industry uses, and then it just kind of trickles down to the consumer. Yeah, we get the trickle down. So, um, yeah, yum. Pika. What kind of dude does my keyboard sound thocky at all? Here, let me put it up to it. I don't think my keyboard sounds too thocky, but it's just the Keychron K4. I did a very bad lube job on it. I basically, because the switches are soldered in, I couldn't take them apart easily, so I just pushed the stem down and shoved a lube filled brush in each of the switches. But monkey type. All right, how thocky is this? Yeah, sure. Oh. Sounds like a screaming cat. I never understood why people spend so much on keyboards, dude. I mean, why do people spend so much on anything? Why do people spend a lot on computers past the performance aspect of it for aesthetics or for other weird quirky things? Why do people spend so much on their cars when, for me, a car is just to get from point A to point B, but people do all these little mods and stuff to it where the cost of the mods cost more than the base car itself. It's just because it's a hobby thing, It's what makes them happy, and if they are spending, if they are financially like responsible and are spending within their means, then it's whatever. There are a lot of things in this world that is hard to explain why people like to spend money on. I feel like that with the mouse. So with the keyboard, I'm willing to spend, like, my keyboard. How much was this thing? Probably like a little bit after the keycaps and the baseboard itself. I think it was like 160 or 170. But for a mouse, I use like this is like a Corsair Harpoon that costs like 20 or 30 bucks. It's just like a very base mouse. Oh, you can see that the plastic's already rubbing where the fingers are. But yeah, um, there are things that I care about and are willing to spend a little bit more money for, and but other things like I just do not care. All right, the next thing, Counter CS:GO. Okay, where the heck is that article? Okay, Counter Strike. Let me end this poll real quick because we are gonna run a poll on Counter-Strike. Start a poll. Do you care about the Counter-Strike franchise? Do you playing it, watching pros, following news, etc.? So I'm just curious about the interest level of Counter-Strike. Just within this chat, because honestly, I never cared about CS, any of the Counter-Strike games. CSGO, what is it? Source, 1.6, whatever. Like ever. CSGO was just a benchmarking title for me, just because I know other people cared about results and liked it, but I could never get into the gameplay. Well, so I should specify. I suck at Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is one of those games where I feel like if you are a beginner and you start playing Counter-Strike in a lobby of like people who are more experienced or seasoned, you just get like annihilated. Whereas if you jump into other games like Valorant is the same way too. Whenever I benchmark Valorant, because they don't have like a benchmarking level, oh my god, I get killed so much just because of the style of game it is. But other games like, let's say, Call of Duty, Battlefield and stuff, even if you suck, you can still get in there and like get some kills and like do, moderately decent. Whereas Counter-Strike, if you suck, you really suck. So I never was able to like spend time to get into Counter-Strike and get good, nor was I interested in it. But Counter-Strike 2, I mean, if it's the exact same gameplay, I might be screwed. Why is this showing an ad now? But yeah, I might be screwed, but at least I'll be more interested in it because it's a newer title. I feel like with a lot of games too, it's driven by nostalgia, right? Like if you've played Counter-Strike over the years, played it when it first released or some of the older versions, you're gonna really like you're just gonna really like it overall. But if you got into it later, like me, who doesn't care about it, if I'm trying to get into CS:GO now, it is harder to get into it given that it's an older game. Same thing with stuff like Diablo, what other games? Like I guess World of Warcraft as well. There's some people who don't care about some of the biggest titles being released as of like recently, but for some of us who have played those titles back in the day or other versions of it, we have like that nostalgic factor kind of pushing and carrying us through. So I feel like that's the way Counter-Strike is, but I'm willing to give Counter-Strike 2 a chance. It's supposed to be free, and I'm really the way I saw this was I saw Linus's tweet today, but I didn't really understand it when I first saw it because I thought he was just trolling. Oh yeah, right here. So here's Linus's post, and he said the face when you have a new game to benchmark for the next 10 years, which is super true. Like this is how I kind of look at it. At the very least, at the most, I'll actually play it and enjoy it. But yeah, so some people are getting the Counter-Strike, like they're getting the ability to test the limited beta in their Steam accounts. I went and checked actually. I have like what 50 something hours in Counter-Strike just from benchmarking alone. But apparently I didn't meet the requirements, or I wasn't, lucky enough to be selected for the Counter-Strike 2. Otherwise I would have demoed it tonight on stream. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It wasn't Linus himself. It was someone who manages the LTT account tweeting it. But I thought this was pretty fun, like a pretty funny meme. Due to your tremor, you can't aim for crap in FPS shooters game are a miss for me. I feel like some games may be more lenient to things like that. Um, but oh, the Smash TV network, you have it on your account? Wait, but you don't play free games though, right? I remember in the last stream you were saying that you are against free to play games, so you won't play Counter Strike 2, or you won't even try it out. You must have had enough hours to get it on your account. That's very interesting. Did you know Apex app down? I don't understand what you mean by this. Apex app. Which Apex? Apex Legends? Seems to be the same gameplay with updated mechanics, graphics, and yeah. So if it's the same gameplay, I don't know. So looking at the votes that for everyone who did vote so far, almost 3/4 of the people in here do not care about the Counter-Strike franchise, in that they don't play it, they don't like watching it as an esports, they don't follow news about it, etc. Which I find kind of interesting. I'm very curious. I wish there was a better way to ask a poll. Maybe we don't need to run a poll on it. But like, what kind of games are you all into? Like for me, I would say I am into FPS shooters, just not like Counter-Strike, Valorant. I'm not really a big fan of Overwatch. I don't know why, but more recently, some of my friends that I play online games with, they got me into Hunt Showdown, so I play that pretty regularly with them, as well as like Halo Infinite. That's definitely considered an FPS shooter. I'm into Halo. Haven't been into Call of Duty as of recent, but so like I'm cool with FPS shooters, just not games like Valorant and CS:GO for whatever reason. Like those styles are different. And then I'm also into MMOs. And then for single player games, definitely love like open world action RPG games, Grand Theft Auto, stuff like that. So Rival Maniac, yes, I know you like spreadsheets. You don't even play WoW. You play spreadsheets with the side of WoW that lets you make your spreadsheets. Bakata says, bro, Danny, you gotta buy an American truck. Can't be driving these foreigns anymore. What does that even mean? Yo, if American trucks could be found for under 10 grand used. Actually, no. Alright, here's my take on trucks. The Ford F-150 Lightning, you know, the electric truck seems very cool. But I don't want to buy a truck because I don't want to be that guy with a truck that people depend on. Like, I'm down for like, you know, helping people out and things like that. But I feel like when you are that one person with the truck in your immediate like friend group or family group, you are that one person that they're always going to haul things long distances or to haul things and stuff like that. It's not like I hate helping friends and family. It's just something about being the truck guy never. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have that. I almost never have a use for a truck, actually, because I've gone all these years without needing a truck. Though I must admit, I have had to rely on other people for a truck maybe once or twice in the last 10 or so years. But yeah, I don't want to have a truck where I'm not going to benefit that much from it. I'd rather just get a normal sized car. Yeah, Demon Mist says trucks these days are too dang big. I want my small. Yes, exactly. Small Toyota pickup truck. Like in terms of, oh, okay, let's see. Where are those really small ones? Yeah, something like this size, where it's basically almost the size of a car on the front half, and then you do have a truck bed for if you do need to haul anything. Like, is there not a need for these anymore? Has like the modern day SUV fulfilled the purpose of these small trucks? Like, is there any companies that make, like in this day and age within the last few years, that make brand new trucks around this size? I remember, like, I had a lot of family members, my uncles, they would have trucks like this. So I don't know. I feel like if any of the manufacturers released like a modern day this size truck, it would be popular. But maybe I don't know too much about the demographics of people who are into trucks. Ford Maverick? How big is a Ford Maverick? Wait, Chris is saying this is the same thing? This is small? I mean, I don't think it's the pictures tricking me. This still looks pretty big in my opinion, no? Oh, and it is popular. So what I'm saying is, what if they made it even smaller than this? Because I would want something even smaller. Like, let's see. Like, what's the size difference between these two things? Okay, here we go. Hey, what's up, ComTV Lee? What's up, Lee? How you doing? Lee, do you have a truck? No one will buy it if it's smaller? I don't know. I need to do some deep research onto this now. Why the small truck got phased out? Was it because the last time a company actually tried to release a small truck, the sales were horrible? Yeah, I was gonna get one, but I've just seen renting a $20 from Home Depot when I need it. Yeah, I mean, financially that makes way more sense. Unless you actually use a truck for like your job or like, you know, if you're like a contractor or something, that maybe makes sense, but focus groups always say bigger. I mean, maybe just go against the grain and try a small truck. Lee with the $10 dono. You know what, Lee? I often stop by your channel just to see what's up. Randomly. Even though you haven't posted stuff in a while, but hope you're doing well, man. Okay, someone asked earlier, people feel safer in bigger cars, so each new model. Yeah, that's funny, right? People feel safer in bigger cars. Why? Well, because if the guy next to you, or the girl, or the person next to you has a bigger car, then if you get into a collision, the bigger car is probably, you know, because of momentum and, you know, energy and all that stuff, the bigger car is probably going to win or come out in a better state than a smaller car. So if everyone is slowly getting bigger and bigger, and then the next manufacturer wants to make the car even big, it's just going to be like a continuous loop of everyone making their cars larger. Like, even cars like the Corolla and Camry, if you compare the size of them now compared to what they looked like in like the 80s or 90s, I consider them big. That's why I drive a Toyota Yaris. Even a modern day Camry, to me, my mom has one, and every time I have to drive it, I'm just like, oh, this thing feels so big. I hate it. I don't know. I just like compact cars, but Kenny's computer says, no, you need a Chevy Spark. Yeah, I mean, our next car, okay, so someone asked the question, do I have a family or whatever? So, I'm married, so I have a wife, but I do not have any kids yet. Kids are gonna be at some point in the future. So, yeah, in terms of a car, I think our next car is it's definitely gonna be an electric car, but it's probably because we're gonna be starting a family and stuff like that. It's gonna be something like a RAV4-ish size. So it's gonna be a compact SUV. Yeah, Lee, Pika Wubs also came back from, I wouldn't say the grave, but Pika Wubs showed up out of nowhere, and has been coming to the streams as well as the Discord server. So it's funny, the first thing I said when I saw Pika Wubs was this Pika Wubs from the ComTV Lee server? So yeah, both of y'all are here. This is awesome. How did we get into car talk from Counter-Strike, by the way? We somehow got off topic and got to talking about that from Counter-Strike. But yeah, who here? So we only have one person here that got. Now, Pico Webs, you came back after a long like getting through college, getting a big boy job type of thing, which is really cool to see. And Charles has also popped in here. Charles from Tech Always Charles has popped in here recently too, which is in that kind of same similar group. All right, Counter Strike 2. Who got the invite aside from I Smash or the Smash I Smash the Smash TV network? Did anyone else get a Counter Strike 2? I saw Charles, Tech Always Charles. He's on my friends list in Steam. He hopped on to Counter Strike earlier. I don't know if it was because he was playing or if he was checking to see if he got an invite. But yes, you smash. Yeah. One of the guys from my are you talking about Derek? Is now working full time at my old job. Is that Derek or is that somebody else? I smash, you smash, he, she, we smash. Shauner says I need to arrive from finishing college and getting a big boy job. Shauner, I'm not sure if I've ever asked what are you going to college for, and what are you in terms of like an ideal job, like what are you envisioning after you get your degree? What kind of job are you getting with it? Because I know you're in school and working and selling PCs as a side hustle, but I never asked you what you were doing, like long-term plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, whatever you call it. Sergeant Reaper says, I tried CS Global Offensive, but I got owned quickly and never tried it again. That is the story with me. Does anyone have tips for newbies aside from play more on Counter-Strike? You're just trying to get that paper. Well, are you doing anything in tech or engineering by chance? Because that is where a lot of paper is. That is where a lot of what you could call guaranteed paper is. Though I don't know, maybe with the recent layoffs and all the big tech companies, maybe. I guess if you're really good at your field, then your job will always be secure. But uh, you have no plan though. It is technically in liberal arts. Forgive my ignorance. Anyone out there who went to school with a liberal arts degree, what is? I mean, that's one of the majors where you could technically get a job almost anywhere, right? I mean, definitely not. You know, you can't become a doctor. Well, I mean, you could get that as your undergrad, and then still you can go to school to be a doctor. But I think it helps with having a degree that's more like in the science field. But in terms of liberal arts, what is the most common jobs that people get with that? For off the top of my head, for some reason I'm thinking teacher, but that's only because just based on my own personal experience, a lot of the teachers I had growing up had liberal arts degrees, but yeah, cybersecurity. And cybersecurity, I feel like, do you even need a college degree for, or can you take the more what's it called? Like similar to being like a plumber or mechanic or whatever, right? Can you take like the shorter like 2-year uh certification type route to do cybersecurity? Like you can still make a lot of money and still not be in like a huge amount of debt for college, and you have pretty good like job prospects and security. Pika Wubs is in cybersecurity right now. Yeah, self-discipline. That's the only like for me, I don't know how I would have done uh trying to go a route like that where was I'm guessing it's a lot of self-studying and things like that. I don't know, man. I like to dick around a lot. So, um if I, if there's in college, I don't know if anyone else has faced this, but or maybe even in high school now because things have gone digital or remote with the pandemic or when it was. But in college, I took online classes where you just had to watch lectures on your own terms and do the homeworks and stuff on your own terms. But then you had to go in and physically take the test. Um, it's not like I failed the class, but I definitely did not do as well in those types of classes. I took like 2 online classes in my time in college, compared to the classes where I had to show up for class and take notes and go to like lab or TA sessions and stuff like that. I think I'm a pretty bad self learner when it comes to the traditional academic sense. In terms of like learning about PC tech and like dicking around with systems and stuff like that, because it's more like a hobby and not like school, that stuff I can like get myself to do a lot easier. Going to school is definitely not cheap either. Yeah. That's one of the things that I think with each passing generation it's getting worse and worse. So like when my wife and I have kids, I pretty much decided right now, like I'm not gonna push my kids to go to college. I'm gonna push them to do something they're passionate about. So hopefully by the time they're 18 or 17 or whatever, about to graduate high school, they have something that they're passionate about. And hopefully, if it's like cars or something like that, maybe they can go like a tradesman route, like a mechanic or like plumber or whatever. Because I feel like those, not only do you make a lot of money doing that stuff and you don't get in like the same amount of debt as you do with like a university, it's also useful skills to have around the house. I wish I could work on my house doing remodels, renovations, doing my own plumbing, electricians. Like geez, those are such useful skills to have to save yourself money and to like work on your own homes. Are flat. That is true. Most kids nowadays are passionate about becoming social media influencers. Yeah, and honestly, there's no problem doing this so long as you have a plan like B or C or other plans, or the social media thing is like not your plan A. With the whole YouTube side of things, what I've noticed is that anybody could become a YouTuber. You just need to be consistent about it, and you need to have a decent camera presence, right? I mean, if you look at my camera presence in my first video ever uploaded to the channel versus now, I've definitely improved and grown a lot. As so long as you're passionate about something and learn a lot about it, you can explain it and break it down to other people, and they will be willing to watch it so long as you could format it in a way that's like digestible. So I know a lot of people who are really smart about different things, and I often, after myself going like getting into YouTube and stuff like that, I've told them like, hey, if you made a YouTube channel, I could easily see you pushing into the at least over 1,000 subs, if not more, and beyond. So in regards to kids wanting to be social media influencers, I would say I would encourage people to do it first as a hobby and see if it goes anywhere or takes off. I would definitely not be happy about my kids wanting to go full time into this unless they, for whatever reason, have that it factor and have a ton of growth. But if you're pushing like, and this is not to be discouraging or like to talk down on anyone who has been doing it, but if you're doing YouTube for like 5, 6, 7 years and you're still only averaging like under 100 views every video, and you've uploaded to like hundreds of videos, and you have like maybe 100 or 200 subscribers or something like that, you got to change something up in your formula or the way you're doing things, because realistically that's not going to make it full time, right? You you want to be encouraging of other people in their pursuits of YouTube, but you also have to be realistic. Like you have to adapt and grow with YouTube, which is constantly changing. Yeah, it's also that's a good point, Pika Loves. People's I'm trying to think of a lot of the YouTubers that I've seen or influencers that I've seen that get canceled. I would assume that up until the point that they were canceled, like a lot of the big ones, they made enough money where if they were smart about it, they could be set for the rest of their lives. Though, who got canceled? Leafy, remember? It's Leafy here. Um, by the time that he got canceled, which was a long time ago, geez, what was that? 2017 or something. He should have had enough money made where he didn't have to work another day in his life. But a lot of younger influencers and social media people, I don't think they think that conservatively, or they don't think ahead to the future. They probably think they can do this forever, but everyone has a shelf life on YouTube. So I think a lot of times they probably do blow all their money. So when they do get canceled, they're completely screwed. But then you have other people who get quote unquote canceled, and then eventually people forget about it, and then they come back like nothing has ever happened. Like like Jontron, how's he doing? We're talking about like random stuff now. Like I'm not super well versed. I spelled it with a J. Jontron. So he got canceled at some point, and then he stopped making videos, and then he came back, and look, he's a month ago 2 million views, 6 months ago 3.4 million. He doesn't post as much, but ever since he got canceled, coming back, he still gets millions of views. So you can get canceled and still be successful, but it all depends. Did Dream get canceled for anything? If anything, I think Dream should have got canceled for cheating, but did he do anything else that was like more severe than just cheating in his speedruns? Or are you talking about the speedrun? Yeah, for that one, I feel like nothing happened. There was a strong side of people supporting Dream and just saying whatever, it doesn't matter, and then the other side saying, well, that's kind of like the whole integrity of this person. PewDiePie still doing fine, yeah. What was his biggest controversy when he was playing PUBG and he said the N word with the hard R? That's a whole other thing in itself in terms of like PewDiePie, or just anyone who ever drops the N bomb, whether it's with the A or the ER, they usually get canceled. But in terms of like what people say about them, like does that make them racist, or are they just ignorant or immature? That's a whole other thing. Linus, yeah. The whole Linus thing, if you guys saw, I think I saw it because Chris kind of clipped it on Twitter, but Linus thought the hard R was not the N word, but the word for like mental disability, which I don't know. That seemed like I can't tell if that was genuine or if he was doing that for the clip. Or maybe it's just because Canada is a whole different place and it's not as bad as the US. You think he didn't know? Okay. Yeah, yeah. He was definitely canceled. But I mean, if you're smart about it, so long as you have enough money in the bank to never work another day in your life. I mean, nobody should strive to get canceled, but if you do happen to get canceled, but you've got everything you need, then I don't know, just move on to other other aspirations. Tobuscus. So the whole now we're just talking about internet drama. Tobuscus. Let's see some of his stuff. 1 year ago, 300, 2 years ago, 1.9 million. I don't remember when the whole Tabusca situation happened where he had allegations against him. But, I mean, has he tried making a comeback? I'm sure if he made a comeback, his old viewers, the ones that still support him, could still, you know, get him a decent amount of views. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. YouTube. How did we even get on this topic? We got into the topic about talking to your kids about what they want to do for a living, and all the kids nowadays wanting to become social media influencers, and the risks of it because you could get canceled and have everything taken away at like a moment's notice. So, all right, let's take a look at some of the people had some stream submissions today. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, let's do some deal hunt. You need to buy a rice cooker, Pico Ups. Here's my like life hack. So I don't know if you live in an apartment or you live at home or like in a home, or you're like a roommate in a multi-roommate house situation, living with the parents, whatever it may be. So Jason is saying Zojirushi, which I'm pretty sure that is is that the elephant? I forget the brands. That's the elephant, right? Yes, that is the elephant rice cooker. Yes. Or Instant Pot. I would consider myself a pretty Asian person. Like, you know, I know what good Asian food is. I've cooked rice like my entire life with an actual Asian brand rice cooker, but due to like trying to have a more clutter-free home, trying to free up counter space, my wife and we got rid of our rice cooker because we got an Instant Pot, and there's a rice function on here. It cooks rice faster than a rice cooker. It cooked it usually in 12 to 15 minutes. But also, it makes rice just as good as a normal rice cooker. So yeah, if you don't have that much space in your apartment, get one of these, because not only does it make you rice, it could also do porridge, it could do stews, it could do, you know, it could do anything. It could pressure cook. Like, my goal in the kitchen is to reduce as many specialty appliances as I can. And if one appliance can do a lot of different things really well or just as good, that's what I'm going for. Because I'm not trying to have to, every time I need to do a certain thing, pull this thing out of the cabinet or pull that thing out of the cabinet, or have everything splayed out, taking up all my counter space. So yeah. Instant Pot, how much are these? Like $100? I mean, that's as much as expensive rice cookers are upwards in like the $70 to $100, right? So yeah. But is there any fire sales on Instant Pots? Well, we gotta go to our best friend Slick Deals and see. Instant Pot. They have the 6-quart one. Wait, Instant Precision. No. That's a Dutch oven. So it looks like they do go on sale for as low as $73. This deal has expired. But you could also, okay, here's something I gotta ask y'all. We're gonna run a poll on this one. Are you okay? Because this is something my wife and I go back and forth on a lot. And you all know me. I'm super into used stuff. So every time we need to buy something for the house, I'm always like, oh, let me see if I can buy something in the used market. But for stuff, especially like in the kitchen, things like this, right? Like a rice cooker, blender, and stuff, my wife is very against it. She's kind of against used stuff in general, which I'm like, bruh, look how much savings you could have. But like, if I didn't have an Instant Pot right now, the first thing I would do is go on to OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace and see if anyone's trying to get rid of one, because I could buy that at a discount, clean it up, and then I wouldn't have known the difference, right? But people, are you okay with buying used kitchen appliances? More votes right now are coming in with no, with almost 2/3 of the votes, though it is slowly balancing off. Yeah, that's a good point, Trax. Bro, I go to a restaurant and the forks are used. Yeah, at a restaurant, all those plates, cups, and stuff, those are all used. So, Demon Mitt says filling up your counter with a bunch of junk is annoying. Learn to use pots and pans. Instant pot is bad though. Yeah, that is true. Well, like stuff with like a blender and things like that, right? You can't have a substitute for that from pots and pans. But in terms of everything else, like instant pot is nice because it's able to do that pressure aspect of it to cook things faster. But I'm trying to think of what else there is where people buy like countertop appliances when their normal kitchen can do it just fine. Air fryer is a must. Yeah. So the my reasoning for why you can have an air fryer as opposed to just having like your oven is air fryers are more power efficient because it's a smaller volume. It takes less time to actually heat up whatever's in the air fryer than trying to preheat an entire oven. So it not only saves you power but time. So yeah, air fryers I think is definitely a good thing to have. I wouldn't say it's a must because you could basically do the same things in a full size oven, but it is very convenient. Uncle Bob says it's disgusting, bro. How is this even a question? Imagine they used it to cook pork prolapse. You're going to consume the leftover residue, bro. Do people not like wipe down with like and sanitize the stuff that they buy used? I don't think it's that disgusting. You wouldn't even be able to tell. Yeah, you wash it and you wipe it with like you know, with chemicals and stuff. Personally, Jason cooks pork prolapse in a pan. But yeah, Pico Ups, in terms of the Instapot deals, I just wanted to put it on your radar. But just keep an eye on Slick Deals, maybe do a little notification thing for whenever Instant Pot comes up. And that's what I would recommend. Because, yeah, we use this for our rice cooker. In terms of other submissions, so what did Demon Mitt post today? So this truck, 1981 Toyota pickup, was the best year. Last year they did the round headlights, efficient, even though it's 80 and 4x4 when needed. Is this the stock configuration or is this with like larger tires and a lift? Because honestly, I wouldn't even need all that if I were to get a truck. Like, I want it actually lower to the ground. Not like a low rider low, but stock suspension and stock wheel size I would be okay with. I don't need this. I'm not freaking going into the forest trying to run over, falling over trees and stuff like that. I'm not trying to go over curbs. Yeah. All right. Quacker says, by the way, I am Simon Key. So they're wanting us to look over a PC part picker list. All right, so let's take a look at this list. This is in the, if you aren't part of the Discord channel, by the way, Discord link is in the description. I'll post it here as well. Where is it? To join the server. But we're going to take a look at this PC part picker list. Okay, so just look at, so usually the first thing I do before looking through an entire list is I look at the CPU. So we got 12600KF. And then where's the graphics card? And then the 3060 Ti. Okay, so then I look at those two and then go straight to the price. This is a $1,300 system. With some promo codes, okay? So for $1,300, I would, you could squeeze more performance out of it, but let's take a look at how you filled up the rest of this because it does, are you trying to buy this, Simon Key, or are you... Or are you, is this the system you already have? Okay, so you already have this system. Okay, so taking a look at everything you chose, um, 32 gigs. Okay, so everything is pretty standard so far. You have a couple of spinning drives in, as well as this. You have a Team Group MP33 256 gigabyte. Did you build this recently, or is this like a leftover drive? Because in this day and age, I wouldn't consider putting into a system anything smaller than like 512 gigs, unless you're dealing with, of course, like a $200 super budget system. Then yeah, feel free to go for this type of drive. But you do have a larger 670p drive in here, which is kind of crazy, huh? Look at this. You get 4 times the performance in the 670p for a little bit only more than double the cost. Like in every situation, the 1 terabyte or the 512 or 500 gigabyte is the way to go. Oh, you are buying it. You have almost everything already. Do you already have this? If not, you can just drop this off the list. Don't grab this. You're doing rendering in Blender. Okay, yeah, so Blender 3060 Ti, yeah, okay, that makes sense. What do you do in Blender, by the way? Is it just, do you do, like, side hustle with it, or are you just playing for fun and just learning, Blender? Oh, Discord says parts already have. You already have the PSU, GPU, and 2 hard drives, and the 256 gig, okay. Okay, I see. Um, Fractal Design Pop Air. 700 GD for 700. I feel like for 95 bucks, you should be able to get a better power supply than this. Let me take a look real quick. Hey, what's up, Fresh Preston? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so for the most part, I mean, nothing. The only thing that sticks out to me really was the graphics card, but you have a use for it because NVIDIA, it really does like own AMD and Intel in terms of Blender, specific Blender workloads. Everything else seems fine. The power supply, also in the Windows 11, most people out there aren't spending $100 on a CD key. If you want to because you feel like it's the right thing to do, or you don't trust CD key websites or whatever, then feel free. I'm not gonna try to convince you otherwise. But in case you didn't know, there are gray market key sellers, and it is a easy way to save a lot of money. Like if you bought a $20 key, and this is, assuming you're okay with the, what would you call it, the morals or ethics of it, which is still not even super clear as to how all the CD key websites get their keys. Then if you saved another 70 bucks, you could get like a 2 terabyte NVMe by taking that money, putting it towards this, and getting like a 670p 2 terabyte or just any other drive you want. So you could double your SSD storage space and not even use this. I don't see the point of using this, honestly. I definitely wouldn't use it as the boot drive. This would be like for a side drive to, I don't know, maybe hold 2 games, if that. Yeah, because do you guys remember the 700D, this power supply, this 700GD? This is like a B or C tier, right? Doesn't it have units on both parts of the tier list, if I remember that right? So let's look at EVGA real quick. GD. So we look at the EVGA. So the 2017 GD models, which I would assume this one isn't gonna be. They were B tier, mid range. But if you keep on going down, EVGA has other C tier. EVGA, their GD 2019 units were down to the C tier, and then is there anything else down below? Speculative position. So yeah, for 90, almost $100. How much are those Revolution DFs going for? Prices are going are all over the place, but let's see. Let's see if we can find a similar one. Nope. Oh, it's come on. Where is just knew it. Was that here we go. Why did that not pop up when I searched for it? Newegg, what are you smoking right now? All right, so 120. Okay, what other prices? 650 watt. You would be okay with the 650 watt one, but if we're trying to match wattage for wattage, let's see if I mean you could get the 650 watt one here for $80 after a rebate card, but let's see if Amazon has anything. So 650 watt for $87. Was this a speculative or Enermax Revolution DF? 8. Okay, let's see where else. Enermax. Revolution ATX 3.0. Where else is it? So for the most part, for the Revolutions, whether it's the B or the one that falls within the A or the B tier one, it's a little bit cheaper. You get a higher quality power supply, and 650 watts for the system that you have is enough. But you already bought it. Oh, okay. You got it for $48. I mean, that's fine then. Yeah, for the rest of the build, I mean, there's not much I would really nitpick about it or like say that you would have to change. The pricing on things, depending on when you bought some of them, might be different. Like you said, you did not get the power supply here. You already had it, so you got it for much less. So for $50, that's fine. In terms of the like CPU, the cooler, I think you'll be fine too. If you're doing Blender and gaming and stuff like that, you're probably not going to be doing. You're going to be leveraging the GPU for the performance for the most part. So, the motherboard. Did you have the motherboard already? No, you don't. You have the PSU, GPU, 2 hard drives. Are you planning on overclocking that much? I feel like there's cheaper Z690 boards out there than this. But yeah, core component wise, I think your pairing is fine. 12600K AF with a 3060 Ti. Everything else, I mean, the case is gonna be your own preference. Extra fans. Does Arctic not have a better deal than this? Let me see. Let me see. Arctic 3 packs. Where are their 5 packs? 120 mil. Okay. They're P12s, yeah. $12 for a P12 sounds a little expensive. Do you have the fans yet? You don't have the fans yet. So you could probably save some money getting. Like, here's a 5 pack for $24. You have extra fans too on the side. It's not only cheaper, but unless, are you getting. Let me see. What are these fans that you chose specifically? Oh, I think it's because the 3 pack is not PWM. Yeah, this is a 3-pin one. Okay, so I mean, up to you whether or not you want to spend more for PWM, but I mean, I've used this cheap pack with no issues. These fans aren't super loud, so if you don't really care about PWM, this is the deal to get. Don't go spending $36 on 3 fans when you can get 24 for 5. Oh, Daisy chainable. That's actually a good point. Do they have a 3-pack of those? PWM PSD 5-pack. How much are these? Oh, 34. Okay, so with this one, yeah. So that's a good point too that Demon made. If for whatever reason you need the PWM feature, or you want to be able to daisy chain so that you don't use up all your headers on your motherboard, because some motherboards don't have enough to populate every fan if you don't have a fan hub. This one already right here, it's also cheaper and you get 2 extra fans for $35 versus buying individual ones for $12 a piece. You were gonna buy 3 anyways, so yeah. Air is an illusion. Just use the air in your room. Why waste money on fans? Yeah, so for the rest of this build, Demon made a alternative suggestion earlier. What was it? To say going with the 13500. What are those going for right now? And to get a non-overclockable motherboard. So let's see. So those are starting at 278 versus 213. Wow, the 12600 KF definitely saw a price reduction kind of recently. I do not remember them being this close to $200. But so if you go with the 1300 or the 1300 13500, then the money that you would have spent on the motherboard you could put side by side with here. But of course, people are like, let's look at the benchmarks versus 13500. Let's take a quick look at some benchmarks. We gotta find the real one. 12600 versus, okay. And of course, overclocking is gonna make some difference in this, but is this not a popular enough comparison? Let me see, are these real benchmarks? These are just bar charts. I don't trust the bar charts. I don't trust bar charts. Here we go. Nope. Just some dude talking. 13. Okay, come on. Do we see any results here? Here we go. This is in a foreign language though, so. What do we have here? Let me put this in 1080p so it's clearer. Where's that? Do they put the averages on here? They don't. Why would you not have a running average on benchmarks? Probably because he's explaining it. But so 12600K with the overclock, it looks what the heck? I wish there was an English video that had the performance side by side. But I'm just gonna quickly look through some of these numbers here. 13500, 140, okay. We gotta look at the benchmarks with. Okay. How much would you be able to save going B6? Let's take a look. So this costs what, $65 more? So that's $65 if you took it from the motherboard. Where is it at? So $65. That means if you wanted it to be the exact same price, we would have to find a motherboard that's around 125. That's like a B6. Just it has to be a B760 because we're gonna assume that they're not gonna be able to, they're not gonna be able to like BIOS update it and all that stuff. So we have to find a B760 for around the same price. I guess I gotta go to the builder. Choose a motherboard, B760. So what is the cheapest B760 motherboard? So we do have some micro ATX ones here. You would be picking something if you wanted it to be the same price, side by side. You could only get micro ATX boards, it looks like. DMMet set a ping. What does the side 249? Oh, on Newegg this was cheaper. Okay, so then that brings the price even close to 30 something bucks. Then you could get the B760M. And what was their case again? Not that case is something to drive the whole system, but okay, they did have a mid ATX tower. So you're gonna be putting a micro ATX board in the mid tower, which isn't the end of the world. So yeah, that's another alternate option that you could go with. And I think between the two, I think I would lean towards the 13500. Yeah, why not go for the newer one? Not even have to deal with trying to play with overclocks and stuff, just because I don't think, honestly, overclocking, it's meh. I don't think it's a requirement in systems nowadays. Just base and boost performance, for the most part, is good enough for most people. If you want to tinker, then yeah, you go with the 12600 KF, but if you just want the quick and easy plug and play solution, the 13500. Okay. What else do we have here? We have the next stream submission is Preston. Did you link two different things, or did you update it? I'm just gonna look at the latest one. Oh, new link, okay. Second link. What is this? Is this a system that you already bought? You're looking to buy? I think the context matters because I assume a lot of people who, when they post these PC Partpicker links, they are looking to buy it. So then I start making suggestions or pointing things out as if they could replace it, but half the time they've already built the system. So current, just wanting your thoughts. Okay, yeah. So you just want the thoughts on this system. So what do you have here? 7900X on a B650 motherboard. Are the So I actually haven't built a system using 7000 series Ryzen yet. So I have not used the newest motherboards yet, and I'm not super kept up to date about the prices. But is this seriously how much a lot of the B650 boards are going for? I know they were expensive, but 350 bucks? I need to take a look at that in a second. But okay, other than that, 32 gigabytes of RAM. Let's see, okay, 1 terabyte, another 1 terabyte drive, a 3080. Okay, so you already have the system. These prices are probably not reflective of what you paid for it. Hopefully they're not reflective of what you paid for it. Unless you built it a while ago, because like a 3080 for 911, you should be getting like 3070 or 4070 Ti for less. Yeah, even with the Strix tax, I'm surprised to see it it at $350. But I mean, that's just how expensive they are right now, I guess. We gotta wait for I guess the tech to just get a little bit more aged or older, or for the next series of boards to come out for the previous gen to drop in price. But okay, you got some Unifan setups going on. Corsair RMX power supply. Lian Li, do you have a picture of this? Did you post this, by the way, in the setup showcases? I would like to see what the build looks like overall with everything integrated. Preston. You got the GPU on eBay for $415. There we go. So that's what we like to see. Getting an RTX 3080 for $415. That's a really good price. You don't see this often, but you spent more on your CPU than the graphics card, and it's because you got a really good deal on the graphics card. Normally people who are using processors like this that cost $400, they're spending in the upwards of like they're buying the latest graphics cards or the high end from last gens, which are like $700-800+ if not $1,000+. So in terms of like the budget breakdown of your build, very interesting in terms of how much was spent on the CPU versus GPU, in that they're both about the same cost. Some cheaper B650 boards. Yeah, let's take a look on Newegg. B650. If I were to build a current gen Ryzen system for the motherboard, honestly, so long as it's just not like well known to be like a problematic board, I think I would be okay with like the lower end offerings. So it looks like B650. This one's 150. Wait, let me look at that. The rear IO real quick. Okay. This is a pretty basic board. And then the next one up is like this MSI Pro B650-M-A. This one has Wi-Fi. More USB. What else is there? Okay. So yeah, there are some more affordable boards. But yeah, the Strix. Let's see what the Strix costs here. Jeez. Then we're into $200 boards. Okay, actually, next poll question. All right. I think most people would skew towards mid tier, and I didn't have enough options to put, and it's kind of hard to explain, right? But mid tier, I would say anything that, like, if you look at a B5, let's say look at B450s, because at least motherboard manufacturers are starting to get good about. So I would call like the cheapest stuff would be this, right? Where basically you're lacking a lot of like the IO for this one. Like you don't even have USB-C or anything like that. Or I guess during this gen, USB-C was not as common, but still, like a board like this where it's just very bare. Like I guess the heatsink on the SSD, you could argue whether or not that is worth it, but decent sized heat sinks on any of like the VRMs. versus if we go to what would be like a medium-ish board is something like this that's a little bit more filled out, a little bit more feature filled, and then you got the premium stuff, which if we go down in price, we could probably find in like the, is there any $300 boards here? But you kind of get what I'm saying, right? Like it's either the most bottom of the barrel or bottom of the bin, like budget boards, and then the next step up from that, and then you got the like Asus Strix boards. I tip if I'm doing a really low cost build, honestly, I would go with something like this if I'm really trying to like scrape costs and cut corners, just because at the end of the day, this is gonna run the CPU. For the most part, if you're not overclocking too, you're gonna get pretty similar results. It's only when you start putting super high-end, high-powered chips, or if you want to like consider overclocking, that you're gonna see bigger performance differences. But usually these aren't priced that much lower than something that. Okay, so this isn't a good example, but let me see. Where were the other ones? Mortar. I need to sort by lowest price, but usually by paying like 10 to 20 bucks more, you could get a slightly better board. So when I'm not cutting corners, those are the ones I typically go for. I rarely go for boards that, man, there's actually a lot of cheap B450 boards now that we're trying to find an expensive one on Newegg. Yeah, like, geez. Let me go to page 3 real quick. What is with Newegg's ordering? Why are they showing me stuff that's 104 here? And then, okay, 300 bucks. Shane Essex says, for motherboards, I aim for MSI mortar. Really? The model line for a motherboard changes every generation, though. Like, I like the MSI Tomahawk was like a really popular board for the B450. Was it B450 or B350 for that line? But I don't think it carried on that same like crazy price to performance value for every like Tomahawk board out there for every chipset. So these people going for mid tier. All right, later, Chris. You posted a picture in the Discord. Is it on stream submissions or general? There it is. Oh, look at that. Ramen with boiled egg, and I'm trying to figure out what that meat is. Chris showing off his food. Yeah, so sorry, we got a little bit off topic, but just going back to it, like honestly, the only time is that I have ever put like an expensive board into a build. Like for my own personal builds, I have never bought like a more premium board for my own builds because I know I don't need it, and I know that it's not worth it for me to spend that extra money just for a little bit better performance than, you know, what the base CPU can give you. But what board do we use for my friends? I think like for other more aesthetic builds, I have used like Strix boards and things like that. But I never ever thought they were worth it, and it wasn't my money; it was other people choosing it. So that's what we went with. Kryptonic, where's the videos at? 20 bucks for 16 gigs of RAM. That's a really good price, and $50 for a 2060 Super. Man, are people in California just letting go of their hardware for that cheap? We need more of those sellers up here in Washington because we're not going to be finding that. Let's see. Let me look at my local offer right now. We'll see. What can I find in my local area? If I were to look, we'll look at 30 miles. RTX 2060, any kind, 2060 or 2060 Super. We have a $200 for a 2060 Super here. This person wants $300. Not sure what they're smoking. Anaheim, what the heck? Oh, I hate this. This $49 for a not $49 computer. I hate these listings. 225. Yeah. Still, well, so for the RAM, yeah, the 45 was a little bit high on the listing, but even at the 2060 Super, if someone's selling a 2060 Super for $100, I almost feel like I would just buy it right then and there for that price, because it is very insulting to. I think it's super insulting actually to offer $50 for a 2060 Super, but that's just me. Other people, they do their deal hunting and their used parts hunts differently. Oh yeah, so they were gonna post a build. Where did they post it to? Stream submissions? No, they did not post it there. They posted it to. Okay, I think this is it. Here we go. Here is their build. So let's take a look at this build. Yeah, so oh man, doing an all white build is very tough. So I wish there was a picture of the outside so that we could see. I wish. Can you add a picture to this of like the entirety of the build, kind of showing like the whole build, with like a side angle with the included front fans through the mesh. Um. All right, they're gonna post another. You can just post it in that thread. You can just post it down here. But what I'm curious about, so here's also the build. Yeah, this is why I rarely do white builds, because motherboards that are white are super expensive. Also, graphics cards that are white are either harder to find or pretty expensive. But yeah, when going for the all white build, I feel like when you don't have everything white, it sticks out like a lot. And this is with the side off. This Lee case, it typically has the mesh down there, right? Wow, you could see right through that mesh though. Which case was this again? This is the Land Cool 3. Yeah, the only thing about Lee putting in, and I don't, this is just me pointing out things that I'm noticing. Your build is like, it's a really nice build, but like I wish Lee almost only put the mesh on the backside and not the front, because you can see how the fan lights, they're illuminating down here, where if it was all dark, you wouldn't be able to see anything through here. But now we can see, like, it makes you have to kind of do cleaner cable management. Otherwise, you kind of see this random stuff going on down here. Okay, here we go. Here's the side of the build. Okay. Yeah, very nice build. I mean, good specs, like quality parts, very expensive motherboard, but yeah. I mean, I think, okay, so if you had to, for this, for if you had to get one more white part in here, which one would it be? Graphics card or motherboard? I don't think adding in white RAM would really help the situation. I feel like it's just a very, very large concentration of black parts in the center. Normally, when I see white builds with like black components in it, it's kind of like spread out or spaced out. And I think, so I think what would help here was if you didn't have an AIO, but instead had like a big white heatsink, it would kind of distribute the black versus the white more. Because right now, this is very concentrated with not much white except for this pump going on here. Like, white cable extensions, even if white cable extensions came up here, I feel like the motherboard graphics card is such a huge, big, like, collection of black parts that I think black GPUs are a pretty common thing, but a whitish silver motherboard could help aesthetically a lot. Yeah, and yeah, I guess black and white cable extensions to help kind of to blend the look in, but yeah. White extensions, custom cables would be huge in this guild. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing it more now. Also, actually, let me see. So this is I had issues with this too. So anytime you build in a white case, any like you see these cables and stuff like that, all of those are magnified against a white background way more than a black one, right? So like for these cables coming out here, it's just small stuff like this. I would have routed this to the top so that there's a minimal amount of it showing, because running it this way, like this to me sticks out a lot. And I'm just being nitpicky here because obviously this build is spec'd really nicely, so there's not much to talk about there. But you know, when you start going for white, you're doing it for like aesthetics, right? So, yeah. So any of these wires that are these cables that are coming out, they do stick out more against a white background. So having nicer cables, for the 24 pin and for the graphics card, yeah, I agree. Now the white extension cables will do a huge number on it. But I'm also curious, does this Lee case not have room to go from the bottom? Curious on your guys' thoughts. So mostly when I build, I like to have the PCIe power cables coming out of the power supply basement. I'm seeing here that this Lee case does not have that, unless maybe if you're coming from back here. Would you guys keep this routing the same way that it is here, or would you try to route it from the bottom? I I for the most part route from the bottom up for like almost all my builds. Lee, exactly. Yo, Lee, you should try to get a sponsor from them. Oh, you ran it from the bottom now? Okay, yeah. I think that for me aesthetically, running from the bottom for the most part looks better than running it from the side. But it's all up to personal preference. Yeah, I mean, if we look at Amazon right now, if we were to look at cable extensions, I bet you the cheapest ones that will come up are gonna be Easy DIY PC or whatever, and then Asia Horse actually I feel like has a slight premium, but we'll see. White cable extensions, what can we find? Clovertail. See Asia Horse. We're up here at $29. Also, the Asia Horse ones, when white cable extensions, one thing that does stick out is the black plastic on the connectors, as opposed to getting ones with the white plastic, which gives you more of that overall white theme. But in this case, because you do have the black motherboard and stuff like that, the black plastic will work just fine. But let's see what else we have. Asia Horse, Cool Cat, and Tech is also another. I mean, they're kind of a bigger box name, so their stuff has a premium. Here's the Easy DIY Fab. I mean, there's tons of cable extensions out there. I think I've used these Cool Cat ones. I've used Asia Horse. I've used Antec ones, and I've used Easy DIY Fab. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think any brand is better than the others. I mostly go by price. Here's a Clovertail ones for only how much? You could try to look at. I don't think they tell you. Do they tell you the gauge? This is 18 AWG. If some of the other ones have 16, then maybe go for them. Let me see. Do these all tell you the wire gauge by chance? What is this? Gold terminals. This one uses 16 AWG. Okay, so like these two are not equivalent, right? There's a reason this one's under 20 bucks. This one uses thinner wires, and you could definitely tell when you're using them. But what else? Cool Cat. Let's just quickly take a look. This one uses. Do they say? Oh, this one uses 18. Okay, so Easy DIY is 18 gauge. Cool Cat. I'm pretty sure. It seems like all these. Yep, 18. You're probably fine with actually no, you have a 3080. So definitely don't cheap out on the cable extensions. You may be asking for more trouble than it's worth. What is the cheapest extensions that uses 16 gauge wires? It looks like it's Asia Horse. All the other cheap ones, the $20-ish ones, they use thinner wires. All right. So Demon Mitt submitted a. Okay, yeah. So something like this works because it's not. This is definitely more on going towards like a Stormtrooper-ish look, right? Also, I think this black fan in the back adds quite a bit to it too. And yeah, like I said earlier, having this fat, chunky white cooler as opposed to just a small pump block, it definitely balances out more. Because if this wasn't here, you see so much more of the black motherboard. But something like this, yeah, aesthetically, I think this looks. It's not that like it's harder to like nitpick the color scheme here. And yeah, the accents of black here and there, like using the black cable combs as opposed to white or clear ones, also adds to it as well. Oh, also, yo, Demon Mint, did this case come with? Did this case come with these black brackets, or did you put them in from other builds? What case is this? They need to make retro cable extensions that are ribbon cables. Oh man. Oh man, doesn't that just look like candy right there? Those look like the Airhead sour strips or whatever. Yeah, watch this become like a trend for modern components to use cable extensions like this. I wouldn't be surprised, man. People would probably be into it. Yeah, these totally look like Airhead sour strips. You can't tell me this doesn't remind you of it. Yeah, totally. This and this. Come on now. Okay, yeah. This is the Corsair case, right? The 275R, yeah. Yeah, so here's the overall look of the build. I like. So what's really cool about this one is there's not really much RGB, like in terms of the fans, in terms of the cooler, in terms of the RAM or anything, but you still get that subtle like accent color. Almost, it's like not neon underglow, but like the motherboard glow. Is that from the motherboard, or is that from like strips or something? But if I had to guess, it's the light from the motherboard. But yeah, setting that to like a different color, like purple, green, anything that's very bright, vibrant, makes this look super sick. What is this? Oh man, Shauna with the Amazon post to the Vetroo. I think Jason, are these the ones that you bought? If you're still here, Jason. Um, Jason did something for a friend and bought rainbow cables. I don't know if he bought these ones, but this is $20. This is 18 AWG. But if you want if you're doing a Skittles themed PC build, then this would definitely be what you would want to go for. Was the ones that you bought for Lance this Vetroo one, or does another brand also carry these? What graphics card did you give him, by the way? Exactly these ones? Yeah, you didn't give him a super powerful graphics card, right? I think you should be like 18 AWG for like mid-tier cards should be fine. 3060, yeah, you should be fine. Taste the FPS, exactly. Okay. Wow, we are somehow already two hours into stream. Okay, so unless there's some really pressing or like very hot topics that come up, then I'm just gonna spend the rest of the stream hanging out with chat, because most of the stream was a bunch of browser-based stuff. So let's look at chat. You got 100% on Legacy yet? Legacy? Are you talking about Hogwarts Legacy? If you're talking about Hogwarts Legacy, so to be honest, I don't play Hogwarts Legacy. I benchmark it. But my wife, growing up, is a Harry Potter fan, so to get her more into gaming, I was like, okay, if I bought this game, she likes Harry Potter, she could play the game, and she almost beat it, but like, I justified it because I can benchmark it, because it's a new title, it's a very demanding game, you know, it's probably gonna be on a lot of people's benchmarking suites for a while, and then she really enjoys the game, so it's like a win-win. It's more of getting my wife into my PC hobby, at least gaming hobby side of things, as well as being like a benchmarking title. So, has she 100%ed it yet? I don't know, but I do not play it at all. I'm not really interested in it, and I don't know, wand gameplay I'm not super interested in. Oh, Demon Mid posted a 4800 PC. Okay, let me look at chat for a bit, and then we could probably pull that one up. Yo, Zebra Gum. Y'all remember when Zebra Gum, they had the crappiest lick-on tattoos on the gum wrappers? Is Zebra Gum still even a thing? Is this still a thing that does it still exist? They do still exist. This makes me really want some Zebra Gum. But yo, their tattoos were like the worst. Their wrappers used to have these really bad tattoos that it never stuck onto your skin looking like this. Apparently, no, someone actually got a tattoo of that. But the thing I remember most about it was that, yeah, they used to have these. Yeah, that's truly. It does suck that I don't have I talked about the whole Hogwarts Legacy Harry Potter controversy on stream at all. I did receive one comment. Someone said that they stopped subscribe, or they unsubscribed from me because I showed benchmarks of Hogwarts Legacy, which was kind of an interesting thing because So we all know J.K. Rowling has her own opinions about like the trans community and things like that, but I think when you look at the grand scheme of things, there are a lot of things that we do in our everyday lives. Almost everybody, if you're living in the US or almost anywhere else in the world, honestly, something that you partake in, consume, or like buy or support has some like not I don't want to say evilness, but has some uh maybe questionable ethics behind it, right? So um we're none of us is free from it, but I think just looking at the whole Hogwarts Legacy side of things, J.K. Rowling is not even she was not even a part of the development of it. She gets royalties, sure, but there's a whole team of passionate like designers, artists, developers that created this game, and it is their livelihood. So when you buy that game, you are way more supporting them than whatever pocket change that goes into J.K. Rowling's pocket that she then donates to anti-trans movements. I mean, we all use Amazon, and then there's plenty of controversies about Amazon and how they treat their workers and warehouses and stuff like that. So I don't know. Canceling and bullying streamers or people who play or want to stream Hogwarts Legacy, I think that's counterproductive. There are better ways to go about it. But I mean, that's just my opinion on it. People are free to have their own opinions. People are free to unsubscribe to me just because I have Hogwarts Legacy in my Steam library. It's whatever. But I feel like it's a very small percent of either my community or just the community in general that are a very loud vocal minority. Like, how many people here have problems with me playing or having Hogwarts Legacy benchmarked? Like, if so, feel free to speak up. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I don't know. To me, it's a non-issue. Sergeant Reaper says, I say the game has zero to do with JK. Yep, that is a stupid reason to unsub. As a dev, it would be terrible if my job was destroyed because my boss said something dumb. Well, see, that's the thing, Lee. It's not even your boss. It would be terrible to lose your job because you're working on a project that at one point was tied to something that another company does. That would be, I think, more of the analogy. It's not even directly your boss. It would be one thing if, like, the head or the CEO of the studio had the same opinions, but this is even further removed from that. So I don't know. You like the movie, but that's it. Yeah, like I never. It was weird because Harry Potter was a huge thing for me growing up. Like that's when the books came out when I was like in elementary to middle school. And then the movies came out. I think they finished by the time I was in high school. But a lot of people were into Harry Potter, but I just never got into it. Honestly, I thought it was kind of nerdy and dorky. Not that fantasy and others and like World of Warcraft wasn't nerdy and dorky, but it was just something that I wasn't into. But as a game, I've seen my wife really enjoy it. Like she's a person that I kind of struggle to have to get into playing video games. She's only really played Breath of the Wild as of recent, anyways, and now Hogwarts Legacy. So, like two pretty big titles that she she has been immersed in those games when she played it. I'm talking like 8 hour like weekend play sessions nonstop, forgets to eat. Like that is like seeing a non-gamer do that, I think is very telling of the quality of the game at least. Yeah, that's one of the things too. I would agree with Lee. Like Harry Potter, I think if during the time it was released or was like very big and taking off, if you participated and then you'll have that whole nostalgic feeling. But going back after the fact and trying to get into it or watch it, I feel like it's a lot harder. Like I've sat down and watched like the Harry Potter movies with my wife, and I don't think it's as cool as she thinks it is. So it's just one of those things, like nostalgic and rose tinted glasses, probably. J.K. Rowling she does not get 80% of the game sales. Are you kidding me? There's no way. Her royalties from it is definitely not that. I've seen numbers quoted closer to 15 to 20%, but I don't even know if I believe that. I don't know if there's more like accurate numbers out there. There's no way are you kidding me? If she got 80% of the game sales, they wouldn't be able to pay all the developers and people working on the game and the studio that made it. There's no way. My girlfriend is playing it. It really is a cool game. I mean, I think given that they haven't really had many releases and it's kind of like a one-off, like Harry Potter has had other games in the past, but they all were sucked. Like what they were to accomplish in this game, especially me being a person who is very into open world games, I think it was a pretty like good accomplishment. Like I was impressed by the game, not giving a crap about Harry Potter. What are you playing lately? So lately, I'm still playing World of Warcraft just because I can't get off that WoW kick. But World of Warcraft, like I said earlier on the stream, late night I play Hunt Showdown with a couple of buddies that kind of like they needed a third. So Crytek's Hunt Showdown, which I suck at, but it's been fun playing that. Halo Infinite, I still play pretty regularly. Assassin's Creed Valhalla in terms of single player games. And then I'm really excited for like the new Assassin's Creed, the one that's gonna be based in feudal Japan, but that's still like 2 years out at least. I might go back and play Odyssey just because I thought Odyssey was really fun when I did play it. The thing about single player games for me is that I often I get into them and I play like a good amount of hours for like weekends straight, and then I take a break from them just because I get busy doing other stuff, and then when I come back I have no idea where I left off and I just feel kind of lost. So that's the only thing about single player games for me, because with other online games like WoW, for example, I raid every week, so I never take a huge break from it. Yeah, dude. Assassin's Creed, especially the older ones, are really cheap. I think Odyssey is a really good one that most people liked. You should get into that one, especially if you can find it on sale for like 20 bucks or less or something. I love like playing Odyssey. The combat was so fun, going around in the world, sneaking around, all of that stuff. They say that the newer Assassin's Creed Odyssey games have moved away because there's not as much sneaking, but I really like the action-based combat. To me, that is super fun. Blizzard took Nob So, yeah, and I'm probably pretty sure gonna be playing Diablo 4 beta, open beta is gonna be this weekend, accessible to everybody. They're probably trying to stress test the servers. So yeah, I will probably be playing that, and if I have time, testing it. Hopefully I have time to test it. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed Mirage is their very next title, and that's gonna return more to the roots of Assassin's Creed. It's not gonna be as open world, and then the one after that will be open world. So maybe they're gonna do every other game be like more open world versus more linear gameplay. Demon Mitt says, "Do you like building games?" Oh, building games like Satisfactory? No, I've never played. What was it Satisfactory? And what's the other? Factoria? Is that what it was called? There's oh, Factorio. Yeah, I've seen all these streamers play these building games. I've never gotten into them. Like so there's Factoria and then Satisfactory Steam game. And games like oh wait, Satisfactory. This is oh, this one's like a 3D based one, so it's less RTS like with a dash of exploration and combat. Yeah, I've never tried this actually. Early access, overwhelmingly positive. Interesting. Single player or online co-op. It capitalize on your OCD to make things perfect. Dude, okay. Lee with all the hard-hitting questions here. So, did any of you watch Random Frank P? because I forgot how I came across this. Someone brought it up actually. Was it through last week's stream? Oh no, someone brought it up actually in the Discord channel on voice chat. But I think a lot of what, if you guys haven't seen this video yet, you should definitely check it out. I don't watch a ton of Frank's content, but this one, because it had to do with content creation, this is, I mean, what he said in this video is very, like, pretty much sums up most of my thoughts on content creation, the tech side of things. He's not quitting YouTube, he's rebranding his channel, but he's also having a different approach for it. It basically talks about how tech YouTube was so different like 5 to 6 years ago versus now. So my thoughts on it is, honestly, I don't watch a ton of other content creators, just because, one, I try not to be influenced by what they do, because otherwise then, like, if you know what's the worst feeling? When you see someone else have a video idea and then you think, wow, I really want to do that video, but they already did it. It just feels like you don't want to bite off of them or copy them. So I try not to watch a lot of other content creators around like my size or the same topics as me, because I don't want to somehow like see something and then be triggered to kind of copy them. So that if I do release a video that's on something and then they also do at the same time, I can know that I thought of that like originally without having to bite off of them. But and yeah, in terms of what I consume, I've been watching a lot of like boxing stuff on YouTube recently. The whole influencer boxing things intrigues me a lot, so I follow like the like you know, KSI, Jake Paul, whole side of influencer boxing a lot, as well as like professional boxing in terms of like the younger fighters. So I watch a lot of that stuff because there's so much content out there on that. And then what else do I watch? Let me see. Can I even look at my history? Yeah, like half of my stuff is boxing stuff, and then the other half, a little bit of fitness stuff as well, just random fitness things. I like putting that on in the background and to listen to, just so I can just learn more, and then the other stuff is like tech. Peak Loves. TechTube is not the same ever since Lee from CompTV stopped making videos. Yeah. If you had to start with the knowledge you have now, how would you start into tech? So I've noticed a shifting trend. There's a lot of like tech news channels now where they like all they do is report on tech news. I think I would probably consider doing that if I had to start over, because it takes a lot of work and effort to like build PCs and to test PCs and to like do stuff like that, right? Whereas I feel like the amount of work that it takes to report on tech news, basically, you know, like reiterating what other like articles and stuff say, I feel like that is less time consuming. Not trying to like take away from anything that those types of channels do, but I mean, physically having to do something and build something and record it versus making a talking head video, kind of giving your thoughts on what this, you know, Tom's Hardware article says. You gotta like admit the amount of effort that goes into those two different things are very different. And what I've been seeing is a lot of the channels that are doing like actual PC builds or like testing and stuff like that, unless you're like Gamers Nexus or Hardware Unboxed, but if you're like a medium-sized channel, the view count just compared to the channels that are talking about tech news is just not even comparable. Let's just pull up for an example. Like, let's see Gamer Meld. Gamer Meld. They can release a video almost every single day, and they're pulling in higher views than a lot of other channels like myself, Toasty Bros, Zach's Tech Turf, you name it. Like, look at these. They're just releasing like a ton of videos, even when there's not much news to talk about. But because of the types of titles and thumbnails, you can generate more views and revenue based on that. So, in terms of like having a channel that makes more money and growth and stuff, this would be the way to go if I had to redo everything. Yeah, Pika Wubs. If Linus ever did tech content creator boxing, I'm definitely putting my name in the hat for that. I'm probably not big enough for to be considered, but yeah, I definitely. I'm totally in for TechTuber boxing. Which, and again, this isn't to take anything away from Gamer Meld, right? It does take a lot of work to even to produce a video every single day about whatever tech news is happening, and to like do your investigative reporting into all these. But it's a different workflow. Dude, I think Brian and me wouldn't even be in the. So if you're talking about boxing, you have to like look at weight classes, right? There are not many people around like the 140-ish pounds in the tech content creator space. I'm trying to think of who else would be in that weight class. 140 pounds. If like, can you guys think of anybody? Yeah, Shane Eslick says if you did a channel like that, I wouldn't be watching. Don't like rumor spreading. Yeah, so I'm also not a huge fan of like the like rumor spreading or like the news related channels, but a lot of people are. It's a I guess a quicker watch. Dude, Toasty Bros both Matt is like six something, and then John, not Johnson, Jackson is, I forget how tall he is, but yeah, they definitely would not be in the same weight class. Brent W says I clicked on don't recommend on GamerMail 3 times over 2 years. There's probably an algorithm thing with tech news. Yeah. I mean, I get tech news pushed in my face, even though I don't actively seek it out at all. But I always see through related, it recommended in my sidebar and stuff like that, and my front homepage. So dang it! Now that I clicked on this, it's probably gonna actually no. I'm doing this in incognito, so I should be fine. Yeah, see, but what I like about like Brett and Paul is that they don't only do that. Like they do a fair amount of hands-on stuff. Like they do things. They don't just do like talking head theoretical stuff. They actually get out there and like build and test systems. So I don't know. Like for me, I think that's I would rather watch that and support that. Yeah, exactly, Demon Man. A lot of the new stuff capitalizes on the shock value and stupid argument generating clickbait. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, do you guys really care about RTX 4070 leaks for like 3 videos in a row? Like, how many times can a lot of these like clickbaity title and headlines and thumbnails be made on one single channel? Like, if an Nvidia CEO farted or something, they would make a news video about it. I said a Nvidia CEO. I should have said the Nvidia CEO. There's only one of them. But yeah, all right. That's gonna. I think that's gonna wrap it up the stream. We went on for 2.5 hours today. So yeah. And especially right now, I feel like it's hard for a lot of people to care because of how expensive 40 series is. We'll see once the 4060, 4050, those drop and how they perform. But I think they're for the most part going to be replacements of the existing price brackets with like a pretty minor uplift in performance. Like we'll get like let's say we get a 4050, it'll be like I don't know 350 bucks, and it's going to perform similar to a 3060 because that's just how the way things work. So yeah, you'll get the newest gen of stuff, but performance per frame, you're probably only gonna get like a slight uplift versus what you had from the previous generation. Shauner said, "Oh, you're starting a soccer league? Well, have fun with that, man. No problems. And if you just catch the stream after the fact, then as like background noise, it's whatever. But all right, everyone. Hopefully, you guys had an enjoyable stream, just chilling out, you know, as we do here every single week at the same time. I have a fun video I'm trying to get out. It has to do with older hardware, but I need to get all the components in first. So trying to get a video out, if not by this weekend, early next week. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, yeah. Thank you for the support every single week on stream. I really do appreciate it. Hope you all have a great rest of your night as well as the great rest of the week and upcoming weekend. I don't think there's anything major happening this weekend, but time off of work and school is always good. So y'all have a good night, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.